Heated debates don't usually overwhelm you because the topic is complex. They overwhelm you because your mind is trying to do too many things at once. You're listening, forming a response, watching the other person's reaction, monitoring yourself, and at some point, something drops. Most people don't lose composure because they lack confidence or skill. They lose it because heated debates create pressure that fragments attention. Your mind isn't built to argue, perform, and self-regulate all at the same time. That's why clarity can slip even when you know the subject well. Not because the topic is difficult, but because the mental load keeps stacking. Over time, that pressure changes how you show up. You rush your thoughts. You replay the conversation later. You avoid speaking up, not because you don't have ideas, but because of the cost. I'm Stephen Walters, and I help people communicate clearly and stay grounded when conversations get noisy or tense. In this video, we're going to look at 7 things that quietly disrupt composure during heated debates, why they have that effect, and what helps your thinking stabilize when the pressure rises. As you listen, notice the points where your thinking usually starts to feel rushed or scattered. That's often where composure slips, not because you're wrong, but because the load is too high. Point number 1, trying to win while still listening. At the start of a debate, most people try to do both. They listen carefully while also preparing the perfect response. For a moment, it works. Then something slips. You miss part of what was said, or your reply comes out sharper than you expected. That's because your attention is split. What helps here is noticing the moment the debate turns into a performance. When your focus shifts back to understanding instead of winning, your system usually steadies on its own. If this already sounds familiar, you're exactly who this channel's for. I break down these kind of pressure points every week. So if you want help staying clear and grounded in conversations like this, you can subscribe and keep on going with me. And even when no one pushes back, pressure can still show up, just through pace. Point number 2, feeling rushed to respond. Debates move fast. Someone finishes a sentence, pauses for half a second, and suddenly it feels like your turn is overdue. Your mind speeds up. Your words rush out. Later you think of what you meant to say. What helps here is noticing how urgency reshapes your thinking. When you realize that speed, not substance, is driving the moment, internal space often backs up, even if the conversation stays fast. And when speed stops being the issue, pressure often shifts to something deeper. Point number 3, when the debate feels like a judgment. At some point, the topic shifts. You're no longer discussing ideas. You're defending your intelligence, your values, or your character. Your chest tightens, your thoughts narrow. This is where debates often escalate, not because of disagreement, but because identity gets involved. What helps here is recognizing the shift early. Once you see that the conversation feels like a verdict instead of a discussion, you're less likely to collapse inward or strike outward. And once that happens, the conversation itself can start to feel harder to track. Point number 4, cognitive overload. This happens when too many points are thrown at you at once. Statistics, examples, side arguments. See what I mean? Your mind tries to track everything and then freezes. You know you have thoughts, but they won't line up. This is usually the moment people think they're failing, when they're actually overloaded. What helps here is accepting that clarity doesn't come from catching every point. When you stop chasing everything at once, your thinking often reorganizes on its own. Point number 5, emotional escalation. Voices arise, interruptions increase, the room feels tighter. Even if you stay quiet, your body reacts. Heart rate up, breathing shallow, composure starts slipping before you speak. What helps here is noticing the physical shift early. The sooner you recognize that your body is reacting, not failing, the easier it is to slow the internal spiral without shutting down. Because you stop treating the reaction as something to fight. And sometimes the pressure isn't external at all. It comes from turning inward. Point number 6, over-monitoring yourself. You start watching yourself talk, how you sound, how you look, how you're being perceived. you're not fully present anymore. That self-observation pulls attention away from thinking clearly. What helps here is gently releasing the need to manage impressions mid-debate. As that pressure eases, a more natural sense of authority usually returns. And when this becomes familiar, it starts shaping how you show up before the conversation even begins. Point number 7, what repeated heated debates do over time. If debates regularly feel intense, your system learns to brace. You tense up before conversations start. You replay arguments afterward. You avoid speaking up, not because you lack ideas, but because of the cost. That's not weakness, it's adaptation. What helps here is understanding that composure isn't always about control. It's about reducing internal load so your thinking can function again. Staying composed in heated debates isn't about having the perfect line or staying perfectly calm, although that does help. It's about noticing what pulls your attention apart and letting go of what you don't need to carry. Before we wrap up, which one of those stood out most for you? Leave a comment down below and we'll be able to discuss that later. If you want to go deeper, the next set of videos looks at how to set boundaries and hold your ground without escalating the situation. Thanks for watching. I'll see you online soon.